All right, bear with me, y'all, because I gotta remember all my new shit that I'm doing now. So this might take a while. All right, take two or take one.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and heelettes, welcome back. It feels like forever, but we are here. It is Blunt Impact. We are on a new night. Well, Impact's on a new night anyway. But I am your boy Chris G. I am once again joined by my co-host, my tag team partner, the three-time baby making champion Ness. We formed the Pot Heels, and we are here joined by our co-host, Mary J. We want to apologize. First of all, last 2 weeks of wrestling has just been fucking wild. We've been putting out live streams all over the channel. We encourage you guys to check that out. We've been trying to keep up. We might have missed the debut episode of Impact on Thursday nights, but it's fine. Because we got Hardcore Justice. We were gonna do a separate review for that, but we get high and fall asleep. It's fine. It's just, it happens. It's cool. But we are going to cover Hardcore Justice today, and then we will also be covering the April 15th episode of Impact Wrestling. Ness, how are you feeling today?
Feeling mighty fine, sir. True Hills, what is the deal? Yes, we get high and fall asleep. And as in we, Chris G means me, because
I do it too.
Fall asleep. You know, it happens from time to time. We were going to knock out the Hardcore Justice review this past Monday, but I passed out. I was in a weed coma. But, you know, better late than never. Here we are.
Yes, better late than never. We will be covering that quickly before we get into our episode. And before we get into our episode, we want to remind everybody at home, please hit those thumbs up, like this video, drop us a comment, whatever you like, whatever you don't like, whatever you didn't see on the show, whatever you want a fantasy, you want to big book some shit, put it in the comments. We'll check it out. Might even read it next episode. Of course, you want to share us with everybody in your family, even if you don't talk to them. If you hate them, you fight every Thanksgiving that you see each other, fuck it. Just DM them and share them. That's it. Subscribe. Press that subscribe button. The number one is you press that subscribe button. Please, we encourage you guys. And before we get into it, we also want to light our Mary Jane. We will count down from 3, 2, 1 to light our Mary Janes, whether you're smoking a blunt, joint, pipe, bong, whatever you're smoking out of. Let's light up together. In unison, one soul, ready to get this impact on. Are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
I thought I was ready. And then I found it. I almost lost it, but I found it. All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to cover Hardcore Justice first. Bear with me as I pull up the card and the results because I got high and deleted my notes for the show. But I did watch it. I implore you. We had a nice tag team triple threat match to start off the show. It was Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus Josh Alexander and the returning Petey Williams versus TJP and Fallah Bah. What I remembered of this match is that it wasn't bad. It was good to see Petey Williams in there mixing it up with the young guys. He is an X Division legend, a TNA legend, but a lot of back and forth between these guys on these teams. A lot of good confrontations between these guys on these teams. Everybody got to lock up with one another, and it was fun for what it was. It was a nice little match in the beginning. How'd you feel about this?
Yeah, man, this was a great opener in my opinion. Pretty much the biggest takeaway from this was the return of Petey Williams, with Josh Alexander being on his own for the most part in Impact now that All Ego Ethan Page is gone and he's in AEW. This was a nice surprise for him to bring in Petey Williams, again, like you said, in TNA / Impact legend, an X Division legend, the creator of the Canadian Destroyer. All these people that you see do this move, all these destroyers you see, the Canadian Destroyer, the Mexican Destroyer, who knows, might be the Bunny Destroyer that we've seen in recent wrestling shows. Give Petey Williams his flowers, man. Give him his flowers. But overall, this was a great match. This is probably I wouldn't say match of the night. It's possible, but this was one of my favorite matches of the night for sure.
I like to call Bad Bunny's the Boricua Destroyer, but that's neither here nor there. That's a different show. Wepa, the Toma driver. No. The Wepa bomb. All right. Next up, we have a Chairly legal match between Shera and Hernandez. This was a big Haas fight. Just two big, powerful guys. Kind of slow, kind of methodical, but they beat the shit out of each other with the chairs. This was as physical as I've seen Shera get. Still needs work, but he held his own against Hernandez. He wins because Rohit Raju, I guess, has a change of heart and helps him defeat Hernandez. So it looks like they're linking back up. Maybe they're, gearing up to be a tag team again. Who knows? But it was good for what it was. Nothing spectacular, but wasn't terrible. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, same. Definitely same. Like you said, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary that we needed to see. But it was okay for what it was. Seeing, like you said, Shera as dominant as he is, he definitely, he could use some work. But it was nice seeing a different change of pace for a match. Like you said, we have the X Division open the show with a high flying, fast pace action that those guys bring, and then this was just a little bit more hardcore-ish brawling style between Hernandez and Shera. But I was actually surprised as well that Rohit Raju came out and helped Shera get the win, because I thought those guys were done with each other as well. So that's an interesting dynamic to see where they go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we have a match between Doc Gallows, Good Brothers, versus Black Taurus of Decay. They are accompanied by their partners, of course. This was actually a really fun match. Nice contrast of styles. I mean, Black Taurus he's a powerful guy for somebody who doesn't look that big, but he can turn up 0 to 100 with his speed at any given second. And Gallows moves very well for a big man, if you didn't know that already, which we know because we've seen him enough. But they were able to put a good match together, and minimal interference, but the interference that did happen cost Black Taurus the match. Doc Gallows gets the win. I enjoyed it. How did you feel about this?
It was all right. I'm not even going to lie. I wanted Black Taurus to get a little bit more offense, and it kind of seemed like it was excuse me, not a squash match, but Doc Gallows was extremely dominant in this match. He had a lot of offense in this match, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm used to seeing him in tag team matches that he's not in the ring for that long a period of time. So it's him and Carl Anderson switching back and forth. So if they do have momentum in the match for a long period of time, it isn't just Doc Gallows. So again, it was kind of weird seeing Doc Gallows get so much offense in on Black Taurus, because since Taurus has been here, he's been the dominant one, and just with his style. I don't know. I guess he couldn't. He didn't have it what it took for this match against Doc Gallows, but Gallows got the win. Can't say nothing wrong. Can't say nothing about that.
Yeah, the offense that Black Taurus did get in, it was in spurts, but it was hard hitting and fast paced. So I really enjoy when he does it. And Gallows, the right guy goes over. You need to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
The Good Brothers just got that. They got that main event momentum right now, so it's hard to beat that. Next up, we have a mystery crate match between Johnny Swinger Daddy and Matt Cardona. What I can remember from this is that there was a bunch of gimmicks in the crates. One crate Matt Cardona eventually takes with him. This was nothing crazy. It was a comedy match. Matt Cardona wins. A lot of funny Johnny Swinger shit that I can't remember at the moment. But Ness, how'd you feel about this?
Yeah, same, man. This is funny match. Like that's all you was gonna get out of it. Johnny Swinger just being a dick, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, just playing the chicken shit heel, fucking not necessarily running away, but every time Matt Cardona is about to like run up on him and shit, he's like, no, get him, daddy, get him away from me, daddy, talking to the ref and shit. But, obviously, right guy was going to go over. Matt Cardona's not going to take no loss to Johnny Swinger, but only time I want to see Johnny Swinger is in Johnny Swinger's Palace. Like, he does his thing in the ring far as the entertainment value, but Swinger's Palace, let's just get more of those.
You know what? Since we're on the subject, there was a Swingers Palace thread throughout this night, and it was beer guns. They were in Swingers Palace. They were getting lit. This is their new favorite place. I'm pretty sure Alicia Edwards was there. Oh no, she wasn't there. She was getting ready for a match actually, because she has a match tonight on this night. But they're getting lit. Triple XL comes. They start jabbing in their mouths. They're talking that shit, and James Storm challenges them to a beer drinking match. Like, let's have a match. So they start getting shit-faced. They drink, and they drink. And we cut back. AC's about to vomit on everybody. Larry D's slurring his words. He can't even look at you straight. He got the going on. You know what I mean? We've all been there. Then you got James Storm looking like he's still on his second beer. But Chris Sabin looks a little lit because he's a little smaller than James Storm, and he probably doesn't put down as much beer. But you can tell that he's probably a little lit or a little high, but he's having the time of his life as well. Eventually, after all that drinking, they start playing beer pong. AC's terrible. Larry D's terrible. James Storm just throws the ball in Larry's face. Chris Sabin's terrible. He just throws it really hard and knocks down the cup. He doesn't care. Just funny shit. I think eventually we have a brawl. And, of course, Caesar's Swingers Palace. Not Caesar's. Oops. Swingers Palace steals the show again. I know you like this.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious. I actually just rewatched this before we recorded this episode. That shit was hilarious. Chris Sabin threw that ball hard as shit. I actually thought that he got it in there. I'm like, oh no, the fuck he didn't. What the hell is going on here? But that shit was definitely funny. Swingers Palace are always gold, more often than not. Yeah, man, this is great.
Don't ever end Swingers Palace. Just keep it going. Almost every week. The next up. What the fuck? What's the next match? Let's check it out. We have a Sami Callihan Open Challenge, and it is Sam Beal, who is Trey's former student. He trained him at the old academy. We went through this little storyline about a few months ago, maybe, whatever. Sami Callihan basically gets the squash. There's not really much to talk about here. You got anything to say about this? Next up, we got Brian Myers versus Jake something in a hardcore blindfold match. Weird
as fuck.
Unnecessary, but Matt Cardona does come in with the crate that he stole from his match. Makes noise. Brian Myers, eventually finds his way. Gets the crate. He cheats. He fucking throws the ref. Takes off his blindfold, hits like a DDT and some shit. He's trying everything he can to beat Jake something, but whatever was in this shit, in this crate, distracts him. It's action figures, which makes sense because it's Matt Cardona. That's his boy, and they talk about action figures. But yeah, Jake something wins. Once again, another match. Not much to say here. I'm just ready for the Brian Myers and Matt Cardona showdown.
Yeah, this match was weird because they were talking about on commentary how if there was an actual audience and a crowd there, you could get some assistance and where to go and what to do. But since, we're in the pandemic era, they had to like you heighten their senses and shit, try to use sonar and all this other type of shit to find their opponents. But it was, like I said, it was weird at first because it was just like awkward. They were just, trying to feel around the ring and the areas to where their opponent was. But then once Brian Myers made contact, or I don't know, whoever made contact first, once they made contact with each other, and then it got better. So the ending, yeah, it's fair. Yeah, it was all right.
Not much to say there.
Yeah, not really. It really, like, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, all right. I think it was a dumbass idea for a match.
That's
honestly
better when they did. Yeah, it's a terrible. I don't like it. Yeah. I never liked the blindfold aspect, but it was a smart idea. Using the action figures and shit. I guess It was cool to see them progress that storyline. Next up, we have a Impact Knockouts title #1 contenders weapons match. We have Jordynne Grace versus Havoc versus Tenille Dashwood versus Rosemary versus Alicia Edwards versus Susan. Hold up.
Dun, dun, dun.
Susan gets abducted, kidnapped by just happens to be the evil undead bride herself, Su Yung. We get the return. I like this match. These women beat the shit out of each other. They use thumbtacks, use chairs, they use kendo sticks, they used rope, they used whatever, a clothesline.
A literal clothesline,
yeah. A literal clothesline. They went all out. So I appreciate the effort. I enjoyed this match. But the victor at the end is Tenille Dashwood, which finally, right? We get into Tenille Dashwood in a title match, in a meaningful match where she could kind of show what she can do. She's the right choice, in my opinion. It's gonna be weird because she's a super heel and so is Deonna, so it's gonna be a heel versus heel aspect. But I don't know. I think they could pull it off. I think they could try to out heel each other. How'd you feel about this?
Yeah, this shit was a car crash, but it was a good car crash. Lots of violence. I always love when the ladies go out there and do this, and then they put on the actual performances that, you want to give them admiration for and congratulate them on their performance, and this was one of them. Especially even down to the finish where Havoc and Nevaeh, I thought Nevaeh was going to be in this match, and then Havoc would go after her, but when I just seen it was just Havoc, I'm like, all right, cool. Havoc's going to get some momentum going. Nevaeh will probably cost her the match. And I didn't know when it was going to happen, but that's pretty much what happened at the end of the match. So, even that storyline set up. Tenille versus Deonna, I don't know. Gotta just see where that goes. We definitely talk about it later on in the show, so I don't want to spoil that part of the segments yet. But yeah, match was decent. Shout out to the ladies; they did their thing.
Next up, we have Jazz versus Deonna Purrazzo, career versus title, in what was a really good match. Started off slow, technical, the veteran getting the upper hand. Deonna eventually taking over, trying to break down Jazz. We eventually come down to a little slugfest and then start pulling out a few spots. But eventually, Purrazzo gets the win, putting an end to Jazz's storied career. Hell of a showing, hell of a way to go out. I would think she's happy with the way she performed and went out because she went all out and she looked good doing it. We all appreciate Jazz. Before we get into her actual retirement, because this is basically what it was, career versus title. If you don't win, you have to retire. What'd you think about the match?
It was a great match. This is definitely a contender for match of the night. Just a lot of physicality from Jazz and Deanna, man. But got it. Shout out Jazz. She went out like how, in to my understanding in the business, you go out on your back, and that's what Jazz did, and she did it for Deanna Purrazzo, someone like I always say it. I think she's the best women's technical wrestler in the world. She might even be the best women's wrestler in the world, honestly, in my opinion. But she doesn't have that. Like she's getting her notoriety and impact, but like she had a chance in WWE to get the same notoriety because we see how their women's division is fucking trash. I'm gonna just put it out there. There's like 5 people out of like maybe 15 women. Who knows? That's neither here nor there. But Deanna Purrazzo is someone that can go out and perform, and I'm sure she's learned a lot from Jazz in itself. So it was nice to see Jazz giving back to the business, as they say. But the match was phenomenal as well. The technical prowess of Deanna Purrazzo versus just I just want to punch you in the face vibes from Jazz. Like it was a great match, man. Congratulations to Deanna, and best wishes, well wishes to Jazz in her retirement.
Well, we'll get into her retirement later on.
Yeah, because I was going to say some shit about that too. Because I was like, yeah, y'all dragging.
She officially retires. Yeah, we'll get into that. But we got to get into the main event. It is a hardcore war, which is basically like war games rules. There was a coin flip backstage. Violent by Design got the upper hand. They get the first guy to come out after 2 minutes or whatever first. And it's basically 1-1. Everybody comes out, and then match officially actually starts, and you can win by pinfall submission. Hardcore war. Everything, whatever you could use is up for grabs. But Tommy Dreamer is shown backstage. Somebody beat that ass, right? So it looks like there's a disadvantage. It's Violent by Design, Rhino, Eric Young, Joe Doring, and Cody Deaner versus Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, and Willie Mack. We get the good one-on-one between Deaner and Eddie Edwards, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They were having a cool one-on-one. Then in comes Rhino. He gets the upper hand. Willie Mack comes out. They start getting the advantage. It was cool. Everything was nice and cordial until basically Joe Doring comes out, starts wrecking everybody. Rich Swann comes out. He got weapons. He starts hitting people with shit. Eric Young comes out. They start killing people. They think they have the upper hand. No Tommy Dreamer. But what? There's a countdown, and out comes Trey Miguel to replace Tommy Dreamer. Everybody's beating each other up with weapons, trash can lids, fucking pans, signs, cars maybe. No cars in this one. But they're beating each other up. I enjoyed it. Very violent match. Tables, of course. I believe they had a nice. Trey Miguel did like a nice meteora onto Joe Doring through a table. I remember that. Very nice spot. But in the end, Violent by Design can't stop these guys, man. They get the win again. I'm just gonna say it is this is my match of the night because I enjoyed the pace of it. It started off, nice, regular, just everybody brawling, and then it got into the crazy shit. They mixed them the spots well, and I think the right team won. Nice setup for Trey Miguel to come and take Tommy Dreamer's spot. Why not? That was a nice little twist, and we'll get into that too. That finishes Hardcore Justice. So that was my match of the night. How'd you feel about?
Yeah,
I liked Hardcore Justice, but how'd you feel about the match and the show?
The show overall was great. The main event definitely, I can agree, say it was the match of the night. A lot of action, like you said. It was somewhat of like a war games format. Like the match doesn't officially start till everybody's in it, and however long that takes, you're just getting your ass beat for all those minutes. You're just giving out ass whoopings for all those minutes. You're getting exhausted. Shit is just crazy. And then once everybody's in the match and it's officially started, they went to another level on top of that. So it was a very nice showing. And Violent by Design. I big booked that shit, so I'm proud of that.
Still waiting for Heath Slater to come back, or Heath, whatever his name is. But finally, let's get into this week's episode of Impact Wrestling. Of course, we get the Hardcore Justice recap, and then D'Lo and Matt Striker on commentary. We're going to start off with TJP versus Josh Alexander. This match started off very good, technical back and forth. They put on a technical masterpiece, one would say. I really enjoyed the beginning of this match.
This was my match of the night, honestly.
Ooh, just out the gate, just gonna say it right now. I agree. This would be my match of the night too. The pace picks up. There's a lot of nice 90-second spot where it's just reversing each other's moves. Josh slows it down a little bit using his power, but then TJP eventually gets it back on the ground. And then we have a nice little submission back and forth. Just TJP trying to get the armbar. Josh Alexander trying to get the ankle lock. Just good shit. Nice and smooth. It gave me Kurt Angle vibes back then. And not to compare those two to Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, but the type of match that the way it was structured. Josh finally gets the upper hand and hits his finisher for the 1, 2, 3. Hell of an opener. Match of the night, like we said. Ness, how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, again, I gotta reiterate, definitely match of the night. The mat wrestling and grappling that was going on in this match was excellent. A lot of different reversals, a lot of escapes into just other maneuvers. It was just a great thing to see. Again, because these guys are in the X division. Now, there's all type of styles in the X division. This is why they should definitely always start the show with an X division match, in my opinion, because it sets the tone. This match set the tone for the rest of the night, but nobody else. This was the match of the night. This is what you definitely had to see. I forgot Josh Alexander's the name of his finisher, but that's Jay Briscoe's move. It's the Jay Driller. He hit that shit. I thought he was going to tap at one point. I don't know, man. And then TJP, this is a good ass match. I honestly didn't know who was going to win. I was going for Josh Alexander, but it looked like even TJP had a chance to even take it a couple times, and it was just it was very good match of the night for sure.
Yeah, beautiful match. Sets up something in the future that we'll touch on later. Crazy Steve and Machine Gun Carl Anderson have a match. We get a hot start from Carl Anderson. He's nice and aggressive, trying to get that momentum back on their side. We cut to commercial, and when we cut back, Carl's dominating the match. Steve makes a little comeback until Doc Gallows makes a slight distraction. Carl hits the spine buster. 1, 2, 3, he gets the pin. Decent match. Nothing crazy. Just keeping the momentum going for the Good Brothers.
Yes, ain't nothing crazy. It was all right.
Next up, we get Deanna and Susan backstage, and they run into Scott D'Amore. Scott realizes they're going towards the ring. Stops him, says, you know what? Don't even go out there, because Jazz is about to go out there and give a speech. So, let her have her moment. Chill the fuck out. You already won the match. You got your belt. Stay back here. They oblige. Cool. Jazz comes out. She thanks Jordan Grace. She thanks the fans. She thanks Impact Wrestling. Fire and Flavor interrupt, acting like assholes. Disrespectful. So disrespectful. So Scott makes an impromptu match. He sends the referee out there. He says, "Yo, we're making a match right now. It's Yatsu, non-title, of course. It's a squash match, though. Jordan Grace and Jazz get the win." She's very passionate. She's very teary-eyed. She's very grateful, gracious, everything positive you want to say about Jazz.
She was tired as hell too.
Yeah, hell yeah. She was out there. She was huffing and puffing just a little bit. Not too bad though. She wasn't on Tyrus levels and shit.
No, hell no.
The locker room is out there giving her a standing ovation. She hugs Tommy Dreamer. That's her godfather of wrestling, as he is to many talent in the wrestling business. We just want to say thank you, Jazz, as wrestling fans. You were a heel at a pivotal time in wrestling and underappreciated in a division that wasn't developed, and you were ahead of your time. You know what I mean? So, and we didn't get to appreciate that until now. So thank you for coming back and giving us one last run. After this, Scott is yelling at Fire and Flavor backstage, and he books a tag team match for Rebellion. You're putting up the titles against Jordynne Grace and Jazz. But Jazz, she's a man or a woman of her word. And, you know, she says she's done. But she advocates for Jordynne to have a match, and she'll pick the partner for her. So we'll have a surprise. Maybe, possibly. I could see that. We'll see. We'll have somebody returning, most likely, to Impact Wrestling. But what do you think about this whole segment, and what are your thoughts about Jazz? On Jazz?
Like you said, man, I remember seeing Jazz in ECW with Just Incredible, and and I kind of remember her in WWE. I probably wasn't. I don't think I was watching it like that, but she's just a great wrestler. She definitely and just like was a great example for women's wrestlers. Definitely had a great career. I'm just glad that they didn't spin this shit because she was gonna retire, but Scott D. Moore was trying to book the tag team title match. Yo, if they would have been like, all right, you don't have to retire, she would have came back. I'm like, yo, they just did all this shit for nothing, dog. I'm gonna be so fucking mad. But Jazz is like, nah, I'm a woman, no my word. I'm like, cool. So what I was thinking, I'm like, I thought it, then they just said it. I'm like, yeah, so Jordynne Grace should be able to get the title shot. They were like, oh, why don't we give it to Jordynne? You know, she's still here. Boom. Big booking it. It's going to be ODB and Jordynne Grace versus Fire and Flavor. And I think this will be the end of the Fire and Flavor Festival at Rebellion. Big
titles and titties.
Word. Part 2. That's going
Part 2.
That's going to be the review of Rebellion.
Yeah, right. Next up, we got Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, but they're not against each other technically. They're having a pick your poison match, which is basically they each have a match against an opponent of their choosing. So Myers goes first against Cardona's choosing, and he chooses Jake something. This match was nothing. Brian Myers basically just runs away until he gets Jake something tired and hits him with the weak ass roster cut, puts him down for the 1, 2, 3. Right? And then Brian Myers, he's laughing, chooses Sami Callihan to go up against Matt Cardona. Sami's dominating early. Matt almost gets the easy W though. This turns into a slow back and forth, but a decent back and forth match. There was a nice spot, a nice Russian leg sweep into the rail outside from Matt Cardona to Sami Callihan. We cut to a commercial break, and Sami Callihan is dominating after that. Matt makes a little comeback, turns into a nice back and forth, nice good pace. Sami uses a ref to stop radio silence. Thumb in the eye, package pile driver, 1, 2, 3. Sami Callihan gets the win. Way better match. After the match, Sami Callihan rips his fingernail off his hand.
That shit was sick.
That's sick. Fuck you, sick. Fuck you. Ripping fingernails. That's nasty. Post-match promo, he calls out Trey Miguel. Asks him to join forces. Trey Miguel says no. He refuses. Eventually says and admits that he's the one that attacks Tommy Dreamer at Hardcore Justice. And he did it to get Trey Miguel booked on the show. So Trey Miguel owes him one. He should be thanking him. Tries to get into his head. Trey tries to beat him up. But Sami gives him a low blow. Kick right to the gonads. Right to the family jewels. After that, he beats him down. Suplex on a chair. That looked pretty brutal. Sami looking very heelish. There is going to be a last man standing match between these two at Rebellion, which should be fun. Hopefully it's fun. Don't let me down now, guys. Because now I'm kind of invested. Don't let me down. Ness, what'd you feel? How'd you feel about
Yeah, I really care about Brian Myers and the Jake something match. Yo, this fucking match was way too long. This match was super duper long for pause. Like they just wrestled for like mad long. They just kept going to commercial. I'm like, yo, this match is still going on. It was decent. It was decent. So don't get me wrong, but it was like decent, way too much. Like I don't know. I just felt like they could have. This was twice as long as the Brian Myers and Jake something match. Like this is definitely way longer. And like I didn't want to. I didn't want to see that match for that long. But that was just. I mean, I get it because it was more so to get built up for Sammy. But yeah, this match was just super. Like it was a long ass match that didn't need to be this fucking long, in my opinion.
It was a little long. It was a little long, but I think I enjoyed it so much because the match before it was so trash. And it made me like this. It made me like this match more. Before we get into the actual main event, because this is the last match on the card, but before we get to the actual like main event, which is a press conference, I'm gonna get into some segments along the way.
Yeah.
Feel free to chime in. I'll save the best for last.
Okay.
First up, we got a Taylor Wilde vignette. She's coming back. That's good. We need depth in the women's division.
Yeah. Speaking of, you want to dive into that? Any potential newcomers to the Knockouts division? Possibly.
Who you think?
No, I'm saying like with Billy Kay and
and Impact. Unfortunately, Impact doesn't feel like a fucking big destination for me, for people. I feel like if there's one thing AEW needs is more women.
Yeah.
So I feel like Iconics, like as a duo, is just fucking. You name them something else. I think that's just money, So and you let them be themselves and shit. I don't know. I can't see them going to Impact. Maybe Mickey James.
I mean, yeah, definitely he'll go to AEW. I wouldn't mind it if they came to Impact. I think they would get that. That would get over. Like definitely, that shit would definitely get over in Impact. But yeah, definitely, AEW is definitely a way bigger opportunity.
We'll see. I wouldn't mind them on Impact though. I would hope they signed with Impact, but we'll see. Speaking of knockouts, we have the debut of All About Me, which is Tennille Dashwood's new show with Caleb, with a K. And it's a show where Tennille gets interviewed by her guest. So her guest is the actual interviewer for the show, Gia Miller. And she makes her ask her questions, but Tennille changes up the questions and answers the questions she wants to. Basically just acting like a real dick. But yeah, I'm intrigued. Her versus Deanna. She says it. Her and Deanna had matches outside of here before, and she's never beat Tennille. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure Deanna's gonna retain, but I hope they show out. What do you think?
I don't want to guess because I don't want to be wrong. Because like honestly, if the only reason I'm saying that is because if Deanna beats Tennille, then like where does she go from here? She's literally beat everybody in the women's division, and she hasn't beat Tennille yet. So that is a story that they can run with. Tennille is definitely amongst the two of them. Tennille can definitely out heel Deanna, but Tennille can't outwork Deanna, in my opinion. But I'm ready to see that come to pass. Like I want to see the match. So, yeah, I'm definitely all the way for that. 2 thumbs up.
Should be a fun match. We get a Finn Juice promo where they basically put one another over. Juice says that David Finlay kicked ass in the tournament, hit the latest tournament. I forgot which one it was, but he almost won. Finlay puts over Juice has, you know, 2-time IWGP US Heavyweight championship holder. You know, just being bros, man. And they talk about the Good Brothers, and we know you won titles, kind of put them over. Just hyping up the tag team shit. Just can't wait to see that match eventually in a couple weeks. We'll make predictions. I want to ask you who you think is going to win, but we'll make predictions when we get closer to Rebellion. We have Eddie Edwards and Willie Mack in the ring. They're not happy about Dreamer getting jumped, and they think it's VBD, so they challenge Violent by Design. Violent by Design comes out. So Eric Young says he may be a lot of things, but he's not a liar. I want to hear it. They just want to fight. Violent by Design's beating them up until the beer guns make the save. They challenge Violent by Design to a match at Rebellion, so we will get that 4-man match. Should be fun, I guess. You know, it's not going to be nothing crazy as we've seen, but it should be cool. Are you excited for it?
Yeah, I definitely want to see the match. I don't think it's. I mean, it's pretty much what it is at this point. I'm pretty sure it's going. I know it's going to be good, but it's just like, all right.
Finally, we saved the best for last. Not the main event, but the best, our favorite segment. We get another Swingers Palace. Lisha's there spending Eddie's money again. She's lit. She got beers there. She's chilling with Bravo. Ace and Fulton come in, and he wants to know what's the odds are that he's gonna, you know, attain the championship at Rebellion. Odds ain't looking good, Daddy. Oh shit. He still wants to hit Leisha Edwards, yo. Ace Austin I'm talking about. He had that whole feud with Eddie Edwards a couple years ago where Ace 316, I just banged your wife. He was trying to bang Alicia Edwards, but Eddie wasn't having it. She wasn't having it either. He's still hitting on her because he's a scumbag. TJP and Josh Alexander eventually enter. They want to know the odds. TJP, the odds look good, Daddy. And then Josh Alexander comes in, and he has a special mathematician with him. It's not Scott Steiner, but it is Petey Williams with a mithril on, and he's doing Steiner math. He lost me after his 4th number. I should have went back and got exactly what he said, but he put the numbers out there. He might have did the exact same Steiner math promo.
He did.
Oh, definitely. He put the exact same promo. Good shit, man. Just had me rolling. Good throwback to Scott Steiner. And the best part, you know, you got to sign it off with Johnny Swinger, that scumbag. He's going to be the $1 million swing man. Everybody's got a price, Daddy.
Yeah, they gotta stop making this shit.
Fucking creepy, son. You just if you smoke and you watch this shit, you can't help but
that's
laugh.
That's exactly what I did last night watching this shit.
It just appealed to people like us, yo. But yes, those are the segments of the night. What did you think about Swingers Palace, though?
Swingers Palace, like I said, I think that might have been my favorite Swingers Palace thus far. That shit was hilarious. Fucking Ace Austin comes in there just like a scumbag, hitting on a married woman. He's like, the odds ain't looking good, Daddy. This ham and egger. And then Bravo over there, he can't even go to the bathroom. Then TJP comes in. Apparently, he's the favorite. Josh Alexander comes in after TJP. Steiner math from Petey Williams. Yo, I was dying throughout this whole segment. This was definitely my favorite segment of the night. As always, is between Swingers Palace and the paid ads. And Swingers Palace definitely was on point this week. Like, that shit was hilarious as fuck. Smoke a blunt, smoke a joint, go watch Swingers Palace.
We didn't get a paid ad this week.
Nah, we didn't because of the main event.
Yeah, which is cool. Because in the main event, let's get into it. That was a nice segue. It's a press conference, and it's for the title versus title match at Rebellion. We have Josh Matthews as the moderator. No Kenny Omega. He's not there yet. Tony Khan's like, it's fine. I fucking deal with it all the time. He's coming. I know where he's on his way. Don't worry about it. He's with Jerry Lynn. We have Rich Swann. He's with Scott D'Amore. Tony and Scott. We have the media asking questions. We have a few questions. Sports writers, wrestling writing, publishing companies, whatever you want to call them, dirt sheets, whatever you want to call them. Tony and Scott putting themselves over as promoters, trying to make sure that the champions, whoever the champion is by the end of this, that they will accommodate the schedule for both shows, AEW and Impact Wrestling. And there will not be no funky finish. There will be a definitive winner. Somebody is walking away as unified champion. They wanted to make that a point, which is kind of fishy, but I hope they're making it a point for a reason. Yeah, the Omega finally fucking enters with Don Callis casually late. Drip
with his fucking theme song playing.
With his theme song, what a scumbag. With his tail Don Callis, and he's fucking got his little tux on, and he's Drip Lord. Drip Lord's coming out. First, we got Callis coming in. Here's a question, it gets triggered. So he just grabs the mic. He puts over Swann. His influence on him, when Rich Swann was hurt, he was the one calling them every day to lift the spirits up, whatever, yada, yada, yada. He hypes up Kenny as a god, man. He's going to surpass all these names. Hackenschmidt, Hogan. He's going to surpass them. Flair. I like when he says Hackenschmidt. Who the fuck is Hackenschmidt? I should go back and do my history. But, yeah, he says Kenny Omega finally gets on the mic. Says Rich has never been here before, but he's used to this position, so he could understand that Rich might be a little scared. He could understand that Rich might be a little nervous. Cuts ass on his outfit. He could understand why he went to Target, to the bargain brand barrel, and just picked out an outfit. Whew, the Drip Lord attacking a man's attire. Whew, that's tough. He extends his hand though, made a best man win. This is the last time I'm gonna be cordial with you, because the next time I see you, we're gonna be in that ring and it's gonna be war. So he puts out his hands to shake his hand. Rich Swann gets up, about to shake his hand. Kenny smacks him into next Thursday, and we have a nice brawl, nice pull apart to end the show. I really enjoyed this press conference. I really enjoyed Tony Khan and Scott D'Amore, like really. Like drilling in, like we run this shit, like where we set this shit up good, like don't worry, we got this. I can't wait. It's just building up. The way they're building it up is just better and better every week. So I think it was a good way to cap off this episode of Impact Wrestling. How'd you feel about this?
Yeah, this was a great finish to the show as a whole. It's fucking Kenny Omega gotta be the biggest asshole in the world of wrestling, because he just showed up mad late, mad obnoxious, but it's so great because that's like, he's an AEW world champion. Like, what are you going to say to him? What are you going to do in his world? Like, you mean nothing to, by God. Kenny, by God, Omega, better than them all. Nah, but, the disrespect was on tap tonight. This nigga Rich got roasted from his life choices to his fashion sense. He got open hand slapped. Disrespectful. But here's a gripe that I have, and I'm going to say it now before Dynamite comes up. They have the last live TV show prior to Rebellion. Rich Swann needs to be on Dynamite. Like, I don't understand why he hasn't been on Dynamite as yet. But like, if it's that really that big of a deal to AEW, they should be promoting this. And I don't see AEW promoting Rebellion whatsoever. It's just like Impact. But that would be a great way to give the main event more momentum going into Sunday. But, that's neither here nor there. We'll see if they do it or not. I just think that would be a missed opportunity if they didn't have Rich Swann on Dynamite this week coming up as far as the story. But I already know the match is going to be dope. Like, there's no question on that.
Yeah, I agree with you on the point that he has to show up on Dynamite. One episode.
Yeah.
One episode is fine. One episode is fine. He didn't need to be on every week. Kenny Omega needs to be on almost every week. Impact. It's different. AEW doesn't really need Impact as much as Impact needs AEW. So you can have Rich Swann 1 or 2 episodes on Dynamite and be okay, and still have Tony Khan every week have a paid ad or show up, or Kenny Omega, because they're bringing more eyes to the brand. Everybody who watches Impact probably watches AEW. Not everybody who watches AEW watches Impact. So that's what you want to. That's the fan base you want to bring over there. So it's it's a give or take thing. But right now, AEW needs to take a little bit, and then Impact kind of needs to give until hopefully we get Rich Swann, because then it evens out, balances out a little bit. If we see Rich Swann on Dynamite, it balances out a little bit, and I think we will. But we'll see what happens. That was a good episode to run through. Excited for the next episode, going into Rebellion, which will be the go home show before Rebellion, and we'll make our Rebellion predictions on that episode. So before we sign off, Ness, anything you want to say? Where can we find you at?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You can follow me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And you can catch me right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. You can catch me on Fusion of Honor with my man, the Stat King, the man of 1,004 numbers, where we review everything that happens in the Ring of Honor ring and on MLW Fusion. You catch me on Joints and Jabronis and Blunt Impact with my man, Chris G. We form the Pie Heels, Shake the Ropes. You can also catch me on NX3 with, once again, Chris G and the bastard Brack, Romeo Anthony Cologne. We are the Death Troll Angle. We are Death Troll Angle. I'm on the Roundtable Rebel. And as always, you can hear my illustrious voice. Or, no, scratch that. And as always, you can listen to my illustrious voice on True Toxicity. I gotta remember it. I keep fucking up.
No, you did good though. You did good. You would have done better than I did. You could find me at Chris G. Oh, look, I already fucked up, and it's not even that hard. You could find me at True Hill Chris G. You could also find me here. Fuck. You can also find me here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Of course, right here on Blunt Impact. NNX3 with the three-time they make the champion Ness. And on NX3 with our good brother, Romeo Anthony Cologne. Of course, Mary Jane. You could also hear me on True Toxicity. But for right now, we will have to say goodbye. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, bump the numbers
so
up.
We can bump the budget. SP3, bump the budget.
Bump it up. Bump it up. We will catch you guys next week for the go home edition to Rebellion. Peace.